So I have a question for you guys. What do you think is the one thing that separates the best surfers to average surfers? I'll tell you, okay? The main thing is speed. So speed is the one thing that separates good to average surfers. There are other things, of course, but speed is the one thing that makes a huge difference because you could have two surfers doing the same turns on a wave, but one is going to look a lot better and a lot more explosive, and it's because he has speed. Speed helps you beat sections or get to sections easier and quicker. It also helps you keep your flow and style, and it helps you throw a lot more spray so that your surfing looks more powerful. So check this tutorial because this one's a bit different. It's just a basic overview of how Mick Fanning and Ethan Ewing find their speed and keep their speed in and out of maneuvers. And I'm going to break these down in one or two other tutorials eventually on certain parts of how they get speed. So check this out. I hope you learned something. Let me know what you think. Have a great day. We all know that Ethan Ewing has flawless technique and he surfs with so much flow and power. You can see how much spray is thrown off the wave every time he does a maneuver. And the thing he's got is speed. He's able to generate speed throughout his maneuvers, but even off the bottom against gravity up to the top of the wave, he's able to generate speed. He's also generating extra speed in between his maneuvers with those extra pumps. So speed is the main thing that Ethan's got, and he's using that for his advantage. And yeah, let's have a look at Mick Fanning, who is 3 times world champ. Watch how he keeps the board moving all the time. He'll do a maneuver and he'll do a pump in between each maneuver to keep his speed or to generate extra speed. So you'll see he's always working the board from rail to rail. He's never got a dull moment. You don't want the board to remain flat on the water. And the reason why is because the board's going to stick and act like glue on the water. So you want to free the board and continuously move the board from rail to rail. So let's have a look at just some of his extra pumps in between and even before his maneuver. So you'll see as he stands up, he'll quickly engage the rail and he'll climb up and drop and he'll work the board from rail to rail in the top half of the wave to get his speed. And then here he comes with the bottom turn and he's able to do a big maneuver because of the speed. And speed is the answer to everything. It helps you beat the sections. It helps you to keep your flow, helps you to throw spray so your turns look a lot more powerful. So watch carefully how he's continuously working the board, keeping the board on the rail. So that's the main goal. You know, many people can surf and ride a wave and beat some fast sections and do turns, but a lot of people might struggle with control. And if you struggle with control, you will struggle to get that extra speed that you need. And the thing that separates average surfers to good or excellent surfers are small things such as speed. So you want to continuously work the board, and you'll see how this guy is a little bit off balance every now and then. He's able to ride the wave and beat that section and do some nice turns. So there are some foundational things in surfing that we need, and speed is one of them, and also doing good bottom turns is another. But one of those important things before that is to have a good controlled position. And that's basically a simple thing that you need to get from your takeoff. And as you stand up, you'll need to get your feet in the right position, get your arms in a certain position as well. And you can see over here, he's bogging rail a little bit here around the front foot because his weight distribution is a little bit off. And he's also standing with his front foot on the one side of the board, and he's losing some balance because his arms are facing the wrong way. So you always want to work together with the board. So if the nose of the board is pointing there, you kind of want to go with it and look and point in the same direction with your leading arm. So the first foundation that you need is actually to have good control, and that means you need a good position on the board and you need your arms in a correct position. So yeah, I've spoken a bit about these kind of things on some of my tutorials, and those are things you can have a quick look at. Let's watch this guy. So I've used this wave as an example before This guy's got some good technique where he's able to stay in the pocket and he's doing some turns and he has some good rotations in and out of the turns. The only thing he lacks is speed. And I think if he had speed, he would be able to do some really decent turns. And if you watched Mick's waves and Ethan's waves, they were continuously working the board from rail to rail. And you can see this guy, although he's got some decent technique, the board's often very flat. And over there, it's on the rail a little bit, but not for long enough. And over here, he's doing a turn off the tail. So he's not really engaging the rails of the surfboard. And the rails of the surfboard will act like a cork. If you sink a cork underwater and you let go of it, it's going to resurface and shoot to the surface with some extra speed and power. And we need to engage the rails of the surfboard because it's almost like burying the rails underwater, and as you let go, it's going to shoot you and spring you to the top. So you want to use the rails as much as possible, and this is what quite a few people do. They end up surfing a bit too flat for a bit too long. So he's able to get a little bit of speed from this moment where he engages the rails, and then he loses some speed the moment he gets the board flat. So if he was just able to engage this rail here and lean more into the turn, he would have been able to throw a lot more spray, keep his speed, and bring the board all the way back and make the turn a lot more complete. So those are small things which will make a huge difference. So there are quite a few surfers who are doing some okay turns and they just lack that speed. Just do a small comparison here. You'll see the guy on the right side of the screen is just standing still and the board is quite flat, all right? And this is a common way people surf. And if you watch me on this side of the screen, I'm keeping the board busy and I'm trying to go up and down the wave the whole time. And the reason why you want to try go up and down the wave is because you want to use the steepness of the wave and use the pocket of the wave. And also there's water flowing up the wave here that's going to help you push the board up as well. So the moment you get the board on the rail, it's going to push the underside of the board up the face of the wave. So what you want to do is you want to keep the board moving all the time, because it's going to help you go fast and it's going to help you engage the rails. And then with that, you need to stay in the pocket. Staying in the pocket or even in the top half of the wave is where you're going to get your speed. Whereas if you're just going to stay at the bottom part of the wave here like this guy's doing, and if you keep your board flat, then you're going to end up going slow on the wave. So those are simple things to think about. Keep the board moving from rail to rail, stay in the pocket. So one of my main goals in my surfing has been to try get as much speed as possible and focus on rather using that speed to do one big powerful maneuver instead of just doing a whole bunch of small turns. Yes, it's good to stay in the pocket as well, but speed is the main thing. And as you can see, what I've been practicing here is to try stay in the top half of the wave, trying to drive the board from rail to rail, waiting on, waiting off, and going from rail to rail using my weight from heels to toes. And then with that speed to do a big bottom turn and then a big explosive maneuver. So focus on speed, is going to help you a lot. In some waves you don't want to race too much. Like my previous wave, it was faster, I needed to race to do an explosive maneuver. This wave is a slower paced wave that has a pocket, and then that's when you need to stay in the pocket and surf from rail to rail. And when you do it correctly, you can keep your speed. So you want to get speed first, and then as soon as you have the speed, use it to go straight into a bottom turn and engage the rails, push hard, keep the rails in for nice and long, bring the board all the way back into the pocket every time, because that's where you keep your speed or find extra speed. And then remember I said, when you do a bottom turn, there's water flowing up the face of the wave here, pushing the bottom part of the board. That's going to help you climb up and do the turn you want to do on a high, steep, critical section. So that's why bottom turns are very important, and that's also why keeping the board moving from rail to rail is very good, because now I'm able to spring from the bottom against gravity to the top and execute a maneuver here, because I had some speed, but then I was able to generate extra speed doing a good bottom turn off the rail. So never underestimate the power and the importance of doing a bottom turn. And so thanks so much for listening and watching. And if you do like these videos, make sure that you hit that subscribe button and put those notification bells on. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions or suggestions. I look forward to hearing from you and trying to figure out if these tips are working for you. Have a great day and speak to you soon.